Ever since Electronic Arts announced their first step into the mixed martial arts genre, there's been a lot of talk throughout the industry. The main discussion being related to Dana White's statements that any fighter who does business with EA Sports would be permanently banned from being a part of the UFC league. This whole debacle was started when EA Sports denied White's request to develop a UFC game published by EA by claiming it was not a real sport. Here we are a couple years later, and EA Sports MMA is now on store shelves. With the mixed martial arts genre being dominated by THQ with the UFC Undisputed series, it is no surprise to see EA Sports come out swinging to take away some of that market share. Due to conflicts between EA Sports and the UFC officers, EA Sports does not have access to the distinguished UFC license, but nothing stopped them from acquiring Strikeforce, a US-based MMA organization as well as many other organizations. Now, while you may be thinking all of the big names will be non-existent due to the lack of the UFC license, this is not the case. EA Sports MMA features world-class fighters such as Randy Couture and many more. If you still feel that you must go in the ring with a popular UFC fighter such as Brock Lesnar or Chuck Liddell, EA Sports has a workaround just for you. EA Sports MMA brings the Game Phase feature on over from Fight Night Round 4, allowing you to build your own fighter from the ground up or import your own face via the PlayStation Eye or Xbox Live Cam. If you do not have the patience to sculpt the UFC fighter one by one, you are also given the ability to share and download fighters over the network. This has led to UFC fighters being the top downloaded creations on EA Sports MMA's network. If you have ever played the Fight Night franchise, the controls in EA Sports MMA will come to you as second nature as you make a majority of your movements with the right analog stick. Now, if you are like me and cannot stand this control format, there's no need to worry, as you can switch over to the traditional control scheme. This allows you to use the standard square, triangle, circle X, or XYBA controls depending on which console you play it on, leaving the right analog stick to control takedowns in the ground game. I found the controls to be a bit clunky at first, but after just a few fights I became easily adjusted to it. You will also discover in no time that this is not your typical button masher. EA Sports MMA is very much a timing-based fighter favoring more intelligent strategies. Controls is one area that I believe EA Sports excelled in, as its competitor, being UFC Undisputed, possesses a much more complicated control scheme, possibly turning off newcomers to the genre. Like most sport titles this generation, EA Sports MMA features its own career mode allowing you to train your customized fighter or downloaded fighter in mixed martial arts. Throughout your career, you will be given opportunities to train with MMA legends such as Randy Couture, Rickson Gracie, and many more to ensure you are prepared for the upcoming fight. One thing I must applaud EA for in this title is the ability to simulate one's training sessions without any penalties. Instead, it takes your best training performance and applies its effects to every simulated session. This cuts down on the amount of time out of the ring and allows the player more time in the middle of the action. As you progress through your fighter's career, you'll be given the opportunity to learn up to 16 special moves, which you can tailor to your fighting style. Overall, the career mode in EA Sports MMA is pretty streamlined and allows the player to experience the life of an MMA fighter. Visually, EA Sports MMA profoundly competes with its competitor. Utilizing a modified version of the Fight Night Round 4 technology in combination with the sport of MMA makes EA Sports MMA one of the most visually appealing sport titles this year. Everything from the detail to the character models to the animations of the fight are on point and truly make the fighting experience come to life on your television. The only issue I had with visuals in EA Sports MMA was the lack of blood and affliction during fights. I took part in many vigorous fights in which I focused primarily on damaging the fighter's face for him to end up with a small cut and a couple drops of blood rather than what would happen in real life. This is one area I feel the UFC Undisputed franchise excels, and it's a shame to see EA Sports MMA fall short here. Now, for those who have always wanted an intuitive online fighting experience, I'm proud to tell you guys EA Sports MMA is the game for you. EA Sports Live Broadcast allows you, the player, to hype your created fighter and get noticed by an EA Sports promoter. This could lead to fighting for real-world prizes and online fame. During these live events, there would be two real-life players going at it online with human commentary from Electronic Arts. Now, while this is something revolutionary for the online fighting genre, you must understand only a handful of players will be selected to take part in these fights, but that does not stop you from attending the event to observe the action. Outside of the live broadcast feature, the online brings the player your own fight card, providing you with the opportunity to become a fight promoter and set up fight nights with friends. As you continue to fight online, you will gain experience and level up through the belt ranks, allowing the world to see your skills and dedication. There is a total of 90 belt ranks in EA Sports MMA, promising you countless hours of online gameplay. I give EA Sports MMA an 8.5 out of 10. Overall, EA Sports MMA provides strong competition for THQ's UFC Undisputed franchise. With an easy-to-learn control scheme, impressive visuals, and an online experience like no other, there is no debating that EA Sports has come out for the belt with the release of EA Sports MMA. While I feel they missed out by not acquiring the UFC license when they had a chance, along with taking it easy on the blood in this title, I am left impressed at EA's first attempt at the MMA genre.